What is happening, everyone? Welcome to the Crafty couple here on a Friday evening for all your football needs, having a couple of beers and chat and chewing the fat with the boys. Big welcome to Greg today. First time on the show. Greg, mate, how you getting on?
Yeah, I'm not too bad, mate. How are you?
Yeah, all good. How's the weather up in Scotland there, mate? Is it nice and cold this time of year, or is it getting a bit toasty?
Well, all the snow, we had snow about 2.5 weeks ago, and now the last few days we've had just lovely sunshine. So if that could be, but we've got more snow forecast for next week, which is great fun. Can't wait.
Oh, you got to love a bit of snowfall. It does brighten the day. Brightens up your Instagram stories. That's what you love to see. Just a lovely bit of snowfall. I would say hello to Keane there, but he seems to have disappeared for a moment. Oh, there he is. Back. Keane, mate. Keane, how are you? Making the prodigal son has returned. How are you getting on, mate?
Not too bad at all. Not too bad. Ready for a massive, massive weekend of football, especially for us United fans. It's a massive one with visiting them blue bastards.
Visiting the blue bastards, the East Manchester. That's what we'll call them. We won't call them Manchester City, but we do need to talk about what happened during the week. There, that was another 0-0. That's 3 in a row now. It's just not what we want to see. I mean, 0-0's coming out of our ears this season. Greg, mate, what was your reaction to the game?
I thought, well, my immediate opinion straight after the game was I think that was probably the worst we played all season. There was no fight, and there was obviously a lot of people calling that Ollie's not setting the team up right, but he can't get 10 players to kick the ball. There was no running in behind. We played 10 minutes in the first half. We were really good. We were zipping the ball across. Had a couple of chances with Rashford and one with Greenwood as well, and then it just went flat. There was just absolutely nothing. Every time the midfield picked up the ball, there was just no runner in behind. Rashford came out for the second half, and honestly, I don't know how he stayed on past the hour. When Dan James came on, I really don't know how Rashford managed to stay on, but I thought we were absolutely awful. If we were to play like that against any side with any sort of, we'd get beat by Brighton playing like that because Brighton moved the ball quick and they get the ball into the forwards fast. Like, I think if Zaha played in that game on through the week, he would have absolutely ripped us apart. He would have just taken advantage. The defence was just so lackadaisical. Everything was just like you could wait 2 or 3 minutes, and then if there was someone there with a bit of pace in the game, like a Zaha or someone that fast on the ball, I reckon he would really punish us. So I think we were quite lucky to get it with 0-0, especially if we got that chance at the end. It was a great save by Henderson, but it was awful. We need to be better, and probably Derby's the best game you can have. This or Liverpool are probably the 2 games you want after a performance like that, because no one's going to let the performance slide like that again. Not in a big game.
No, I mean, you hope that the players get riled up for a game this weekend. I mean, personally, I think a lot of United fans, as we're a global fan base, a lot of United fans weren't too bothered about City until they became relevant when they were bought by the Arabs. I lived in Manchester for 3 years, and I can tell you that I do hate them with a burning passion. Keane, what you've got to be hoping that they can put in a better performance than they did during the week now against Palace. Do you think we're going to be doing it this weekend? But what are your thoughts on the Palace game first and foremost?
I think the Palace game, look, we can all agree, was just an absolute shit show, wasn't it? Like, it was just. I agree with Greg. It was probably our worst performance of the season, bar the 6-1 against Spurs. We looked devoid of ideas. We were so flat from 1 to 11. I think the only person I can maybe take anything out of that game is Dean Henderson. The fact that he got a start in the league and he made a crucial save when called upon. I think that's the only person we can actually have a positive about. But yeah, it was a really bad game, and again another scoreless draw, 3 in a row now. And you'd be looking at this weekend, like Paul Pogba and not playing, and you look at the midfield that we're probably going to play on Sunday away at the Etihad. Are we going to score a goal on the weekend? Like, it's tough. It's going to be very, very tough. But like, when you look at this weekend, when you wear the Manchester United shirt, if you can't get up for a Manchester derby, you do not deserve to wear the Manchester United shirt. It's a big, big game. It's our rivals, and we can't like look at the title. Right, the title is gone. Right, we all know 21. That's not happening this year. Regardless of that, we can't leave them just roll over and steamroll the title. we have to go there Sunday and actually get something out of the game, win the game, because we can't just roll over, because we've done it too many times in the last 7 years. And I think for Ollie, if he loses this game on Sunday and the rivals around us win, he's dragged right back into a proper top 4 race. And with the injuries and the burn on the squad, can we really afford that? Especially the fact we're still in the Thursday Night Cup at the minute. So all in all, this Sunday, we need to win this game. There's no two ways about it.
No two ways about it. And yeah, you do speak right now. I mean, if you think about it, we get them 3 points against Palace. So, it's a bit of breathing space between us and Leicester again with 3 points ahead there. But it's another opportunity missed. And it seems to be the story of United throughout the last few years. We never seem to capitalise on those opportunities. I mean, I can recall when Chelsea were dropping points, we were chasing the top 4 a year or so ago. We were never making up the ground. But I mean, hopefully that can change. And worst coming to the worst, we will be Europa League champions of the world. I am convinced of that. Let's move on to tomorrow's fixtures. We start off with Burnley versus Arsenal. And Keane, are you going to predict another Arsenal loss, another Arsenal meltdown? Are they going to be asking to, throw chairs around the AFTV offices after the Burnley game at 12:30? What do you think, mate?
I think, do you know what? I don't think this is going to be a loss for Arsenal, but I do, however, think this is going to draw. I think Burnley last weekend, they did have an appalling performance against Spurs. Last Sunday, I thought they were quite poor, and they made Spurs look a lot better than what they actually are. And hence the 4-0 scoreline. But you look at midweek, they played against Leicester and they actually played quite well. They were very defensively resolute. So Chris Wood was back this week and he looked like a goal threat as well. And with Arsenal, with physical strikers, they can't really cope with them. And I think Arsenal, for all what they've done this year, for them to be chatting shit about Man United fans, they're living on a whole different fucking planet. Do you know what I mean? They're living on a different planet. You should be worrying about fucking Leeds United, not Man United. Do you know what I mean? You're worrying about the wrong United. How much brain damage this last kind of few years has caused you. But all in all, I think Burnley, I think they will. The fact they're at home, I think they will get something out of the game. And I'll go 1-1. Because I think Arsenal will probably go a goal up, but I think Burnley will score off a set piece.
Burnley to get a goal off a set piece. I mean, I think you've seen with that Tottenham game, you've seen that you can see the two sides of Burnley with their fixtures. I mean, they can get a mad result like they did against Villa and scrape out games 1-0 and 1-0. But they will often go and get battered like they do against City and like they did against Tottenham last week. And I mean, Greg, are you thinking that Burnley can pull off one of their magic results, or do you think you in agreement with Keane? Do you think Arsenal will come out on top?
I think Arsenal will win. I think Arsenal, I thought, were very impressive last week against Leicester. I got the joy of watching that whole game, which was great fun. But when that first goal went in, you saw a shift in Arsenal and a real change. And then from after that appalling defence performance for the first goal, Arsenal just took control of the game. They took their midfield out of it completely. They went wide. They got the ball into the box with a lot. And David Luiz's header was a properly good header and a really good goal. So I think they're starting to build something slowly under Arteta. They're still a long way off. They're still about 2-3 summers off actually being back up there at all. I think they're probably good enough to push aside Burnley. I just think Burnley they will. We know how they're going to play. Everyone knows how Burnley are going to play. I back Arteta to be able to pick a team and a side that's going to be able to unpick that defence. I think he might start Odegaard and Smith Rowe just in front of Ceballos for that, just that little bit of creativity in the middle, try and pull Burnley out of position to then allow someone like Alexa or Aubameyang to come inside. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Arsenal.
2-1 Arsenal. Keane, do you know who they've got in the Europa? I can't remember who they got. Was it Olympiacos? That was
Olympiacos.
So that's coming up this Thursday. So they could.
Fun fact: Olympiacos knocked them out in Europa League last season.
I do. I remember that. I was doing my fan cam. I'd just done my fan cam outside after the Bruges game, and there was a celebration outside the ground as if United had won a tournament because we were just delighted to see Arsenal get knocked out. But I think that I honestly think Arsenal are in a bit of trouble this weekend because they've got that Olympiacos game, and I think they'll have one eye on that really. And I think they could take their eye off the ball there. I don't think they'll lose, but I'm going to go for a 1-1. Sheffield. We move on to the 3 o'clock, which is Sheffield United. Huh?
Great minds think alike there at the 1-1 scoreline. I like it.
Great minds do think alike. But Sheffield United, Southampton as the 3 o'clock, and Sheffield United, they got a win. I mean, I love them because of the Irish connection there with the likes of John Egan and Enda Stevens, as I say every week. And I'd love for them to stay up. It'd be such a lovely fairy tale story, but sadly that doesn't happen in life, really. But it's a possibility. We've seen stranger things happen. Can they make this great escape, Greg? Can they get 2 back-to-back wins? I think probably for the first time this season. Can they push to stay up in the Premiership?
I don't know. Southampton aren't a great side. Like I think if you take Danny Ings out of that Southampton side, that side probably gets relegated. They don't have anyone really that scores goals apart from Ings. They struggle to create a lot. So if Sheffield United are going to win another game, you would probably back it to be against someone like a Southampton. I would really rather they didn't and they just went down. Like, they've got a championship squad in the Premier League. They don't play attractive football. Like, they've got Ollie McBurney up front, who currently, because he plays in the Premier League, gets picked for Scotland. That is just horrific. There's goal scorers all over the country scoring more goals than he has, and he gets picked because he plays in the Premier League. So I'm all for Sheffield United going down. I think Southampton probably will beat them. I don't think it'll be pretty. I feel bad for Hasenhüttl though. I think he's a great coach. I think he does need some money pumped in and helping that team next season, because it's looking like they're going to lose Ings in the summer. If they do lose Ings in the summer, they might have to look at selling someone else, maybe like Gineppo or Bednarek, and then just trying to build a decent, stable side to try and stay in the league. Because if they lose Ings, the rest of the side's going down next year. I reckon Southampton will win. I'll say 1-0 Southampton.
1-0 Southampton. I mean, I fancy Sheffield United this game. Keane, are you going along with me or Greg, mate? Who are you thinking is going to get the result here at Bramall Lane as well?
I always go for at least one mad result in your show on, and this week I'm going to do it again. Sheffield United 2-1. Let's go for it. McGoldrick get on the score sheet.
McGoldrick, he's doing the business. It's a shame he never did it in a green shirt, the man, and he retired now from international football. But love to see him do it well, and I'm hoping Sheffield United do a great escape, because I do want to go to Bramall Lane for an away day. It is supposed to be a phenomenal ground to go and visit. We then move on to the 5:30 kickoff, which is a West Midlands derby, and it's Villa versus Wolves at Villa Park. And it's a tough game. Wolves now they were unlucky against City. I can kind of say they were unlucky, but they just sort of fell apart in the last 10 minutes there. Looked like they might have got something out of it with that Cody header, but fell apart in the end. And Villa, a good side, and they've probably been the surprise package of the season. So, Keane, who are you going for in this one, mate? Villa or Wolves?
I'm going to go... it's really a toss-up with them two, because anytime they play each other, it's always kind of a close game. Is Jack Grealish back for Villa? Does anyone know?
I haven't seen anything. I think he is still out, yeah.
Yeah, he's still out.
I think he is. I'm going to go... I'm going to go with 1-1 draw to be safe, because they're usually a close game. They play each other. Jack Grealish is brilliant. I don't think Villa will win, even though I really like Ollie Watkins up front from him. I think he's a great striker.
Yeah, Ollie Watkins is having a great season. I mean, who'd have said that he would be in contention for an England spot? You'd have wanted your head checked if someone said that to you at the start of the season. I mean, Greg, mate, what are you thinking? Are you thinking on a tight game, bit nitty gritty, and someone ekes out a win? Or...
I don't know. Wolves have looked like, since they lost Jimenez, that they can't really score. They obviously brought in Willie and Jose with the hopes that he maybe scored the goals, and because they don't really want to lump all that pressure from Fabio Silva, who they bought for a lot of money, but they basically just bought him for potential. So they struggled to score goals. I could see Villa scoring early and then just sort of shutting up shop, because I don't see where Wolves score unless it's like a long range effort or like a set piece or something like that. So I'll go 2-0 Villa.
2-0 Villa. I mean, I'm sort of inclined to agree with yourself, Greg. I think Villa will get over the line. I think Watkins is going to get his shooting boots back on and get on the score sheet for himself as well. Now we move on to the 8 o'clock game, which I hope they don't keep when fans go back to the ground. Because if I have to go to a game at 8 o'clock on a Saturday, that is just so long. No one needs that. Everyone wants to go out on a Saturday, have a few. You can have a bit of fun with it, but it's not fan friendly at 8 o'clock on a Saturday. But I digress. I mean, Leicester are in terrible form since that win at Anfield. They haven't won a game. That game against Palace, I think we can all think back to. It's one of them raging FIFA moments. Really, they had all the possession, all the shots. Brighton have 2 on target, win the game. I mean, it was just very unfortunate for them. It seems to be their story, their season. I think they have 27 points on XG, some with their expected points, and that just at home, and I think that's more than they have already this season. So, I mean, Greg, do you think they're going to get a result against Leicester, or is it just going to be the same sort of story for them as it has been this season?
I think they might get a result against Leicester, actually. I was looking earlier on, pretty sure Brighton are behind. I think it's Man City, Liverpool and Man United are the only 3 teams that have created more chances than Brighton have this season. And all those 3 other teams are right at the top, or not right at the top, with Liverpool, which is quite very funny. But the other 2 are obviously right at the very top of the league. Eventually, luck has to turn round because they literally just need someone to put the ball in the back of the net. And I think Leicester are poor without Maddison. I think they really struggle without Maddison. He's someone that makes them tick. Like, they can have Vardy there. They were obviously playing Iheanacho in that 10 role through the week, and I don't think he's very good at all. So I think Brighton could get a result here. I'm going to go with 2-1 Brighton.
2-1 Brighton. I mean, you say they could get a result. I'd have thought that against West Brom and, big Sam Allardyce. They should have got a result, but Lady Luck doesn't seem to be on their side this season, and they're the hipsters' favourite team. I mean, they should just be nicknamed IPAFC because that is just what they are. Everyone absolutely adores XG. I mean, XG, it's the old saying: if my auntie had balls, she'd be my uncle. If you're not putting it in the net, it's not happening. So it's just not happening for them. They can't finish to save their lives. But Keane, are they going to get a result against Leicester and give us some a helping hand on that en route to getting that second place finish?
I think Brighton could get a result of it because you look at the multiple injuries that are at Leicester at the minute. Like they're a bit screwed. Like the couple, like a lot of key players, like they're missing. But in saying that though, Brighton can't finish their dinner. So like there's 2 sides to this. Like if Jamie Vardy can get some service, then I think though Leicester should win. I think Brighton do have a chance, but ultimately I will go 2-1 Leicester just off the basis that they have more firepower up front with the likes of Iheanacho and Jamie Vardy up top. Now I know Harvey Barnes and Maddison being out are a miss, but I think Vardy they still have enough to beat Brighton.
Yeah. In Vardy, they trust Jamie Vardy. We're having a party for himself down on the south coast. I'm sure he will. Sure he'll get on the beach, get a few WKDs in for all the boys. But Big Ron asks here, what do you think of Graham Potter as a coach? And he also brings up the point of imagine what he could do with United's squad. I mean, I'm not too sure about that one myself. I don't particularly agree with that. I don't think he would do a great job for United. Greg, what's your opinion on that? Do you think Potter could potentially be the man?
Well, I don't think he'd ever get the chance, but I think he's an absolutely elite coach. Like, genuinely think, obviously behind the big names like Pep and Klopp and things like that in the league, I reckon he's behind those. He's the next one down. He's taken that Brighton side. They've got players there with very limited ability, and he's creating a lot of chances. Now, if he had someone in there to put the chances away, they'd have a lot more goals and be a lot safer. And obviously, that's what everyone says. They need someone to put the chances away. But if you look at the chances they're creating, a team like Brighton don't normally do that. A team like Brighton, a small team like that, you would expect them to be just punting it long, but they play good football. And Potter is a brilliant coach. He did it. I think it's Sweden. He was at
Östersunds, yeah.
Yeah. He did it there as well. He obviously took that team from very low down and brought them all the way through into European football, I think. So he is an elite coach. He's absolutely brilliant. I think I can see them if they don't start if they don't win sort of one of their next 2 games, I think he might get the sack, which would be good for someone like a Celtic. I think if he went to Celtic, that would just be phenomenal. But I think he's an absolutely brilliant coach, definitely. I don't think he'd ever get the chance at Man United, but it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, just before I come to you, Keane, I mean, Ron makes another point here in saying not necessarily as a manager, as a coach. I feel like I think that would be an amazing appointment in terms of improving our coaching staff, but I just can't see someone dropping from having that managerial role. And I think he's used to that managerial role now. He's had it at Brighton, at Swansea, and previously at Östersunds, where he took them from like the Swedish 3rd division, and they won the Swedish Cup and got into the Europa League within about 5 or 6 years. So like, it's an absolutely unreal achievement, like going out there as an English manager and breaking barriers. But Keane, what do you think of that? Do you think, like, obviously a coach appointment would be amazing, but do you think you'd ever get the chance at United?
No. Great coach, right? Don't get me wrong. Great
straight up.
What he's done at look straight out. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I think he's a great coach. I think his next job, and I'm just gonna throw this out there now. His next job is gonna be someone like Southampton next, because Ralph Hasenhüttl is going to go to Spurs or Everton next after this, after his job at Southampton, and then the manager merry-go-round is going to happen here, and Graham Potter is going to go to someone like Southampton or someone like that. In that regard, because obviously Jose Mourinho's time is numbered at Spurs. As soon as he gets smacked by City in the Carabao Cup final, and then as soon as he doesn't get top 4, then Daniel Levy will make a business decision, and Jose will be out the door. And then I think Hasenhüttl will be. They might look at him as a second coming to Poch. In that regard, that could happen at Spurs. But I'm speculating. I'm just speculating.
Let them think what they want, man.
Hasenhüttl's brilliant as well. As a coach, Hasenhüttl's really good as well. He gets his team playing well. So.
But I think to succeed at these big clubs, you can't just be a good coach. I think you have to be a good manager as well at the same time. I think, obviously Klopp's having a down season at the moment, but I think he has sort of had the right balance in that. It just seems to go to pot for him after a few years, but it does. I feel like you need to have a good balance of that. And I think everyone talking about Hasenhüttl, I mean, he has done quite well at Southampton, and I don't doubt his abilities as a coach, but they're on a massive downward spiral at the moment. So, I feel like if his last name wasn't Hasenhüttl and it was, his name was, Sam Allardyce or another generic English manager's name, I don't think he'd be getting the same sort of hype. I think, he'd get crucified. But I think that's enough about the Brighton manager now. I think that we've done them to death. I think that's the most airtime Brighton have ever got on anything ever. We move on to the Sunday fixtures then, where we have we start off with the 12 o'clock kickoff. West Brom versus Newcastle. West Brom as well, under Big Sam, looking to make their own great escape. Newcastle in serious trouble there. Poor old Brucey getting absolute stick from the Geordie fan base. They're not a fan of him. He'd be getting cabbages left, right, and centre, lobbed at his head. If St James's Park was allowed fans in, he's probably happy that they're not. It's at the Hawthorns. Greg, mate, is Big Sam going to pull off another great escape, or is Brucey going to do it?
It's going to be no. I could tell you that. I could have told you that 3 weeks ago. It's going to be no. And then Maximan and Almiron are out for I think till the end of April or middle of April, so they're out for a long time as well. Newcastle could genuinely theoretically get relegated still, which would be very funny. But it's going to be an awful game of football. Both teams don't have anything to sort of penetrate a back four at all. They'll just both kick it long, and the two banks of 4 centre halves will just be happy to clear it out. It's going to be horrific.
Yeah, I can't. To be honest, mate, I'm going to have a Sunday lie-in. I'm not going to be rushing out of my bed to watch this one. I might watch the second half while I eat my fry up and have a cup of tea. I mean, Keane, are you in the same boat as me, mate? You're not buzzing to watch Sam Allardyce face off against Steve Bruce by any chance, are you? Or who knows? Maybe you're excited for it. Are you?
I'll be in bed when that game is on because I'm watching UFC tomorrow night, so I'll definitely be asleep when that game is on. But look for me, I'm going to go off on one here because I think looking at the odds, like Newcastle are 2-1 to win away from home at the Hawthorns, and look, both teams are just crap, aren't they? So like I'm gonna, because Newcastle are 2-1, I'm gonna throw them on my accumulator and I'm gonna go for a Newcastle 2-1 win. And Ron, you're absolutely right. It's the protest vegetable of choice. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Pat.
The protest vegetable of choice is always a cabbage. It's just a bit harsh on Brucey. He's United legend. I mean, not many get 20 goals from centre half, but he's a manager now, and that's what he has to be judged on. And it is not going well for him at Newcastle. But hopefully, I just hope he doesn't do as bad as. I hope he keeps them up, just because I like Brucey. I just think it's a bit harsh on him at the moment. But now we move on to the 2 o'clock, which is Liverpool Fulham. And I don't know about you lot, but I'm just praying. I am praying to the Lord that may or may not be above there, that these lot lose 6 in a row at Anfield. I think we'd absolutely, oh my God, 6 in a row. That's anytime they bring up 6 times, that's coming straight up. 6 in a row at home, mate. It's done. You're done. You're done. Jurgen, see, Auf Wiedersehen, mate. Head back to Dortmund. Or he's actually from Stuttgart, or wherever he's going. But Keane, mate, is it going to happen? Is Scotty Parker going to deliver us the best present we could ever get? And see them lose 6 in a row at Anfield?
In the words of Jurgen Klopp, let's talk about 6, baby. Here we go. It's going to happen. We're going to get Fulham, and they're going to nick a 2-1 win. We're going to do it. And see that gif when Jurgen Klopp is going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, 3 Scousers coming on your timeline, regardless what the result is in the derby on Sunday, with that gif, and all these certain Scousers who tag me in shit, I'll be tagging every single fucking one of you when that happens. So chalk it fucking down.
Chalk it down. So Keane, I'm guessing you're going to go for a Fulham win. Who are you going for scoring, mate?
As Sean Dowley says in the comments there, Ruben Loftus-Cheek masterclass. A double from Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and it's a 2-1 win for Fulham.
A double from RLC. The Rolls Royce of a midfielder, and I feel like he's only referred to a Rolls Royce of a midfielder because as a Rolls Royce, he only gets pulled out of the garage every 2 years because he's injured like 99% of the time. But Greg, mate, is it going to happen? Are our dreams going to come true?
They are. They absolutely are. The first game, Fulham versus Liverpool. Fulham were very good, and Liverpool were awful. And Liverpool had still some semblance of a team there. I think Thiago will go missing again. I think Anguissa will absolutely boss it in midfield. Just think they'll get out there. I think it'll probably be 1-0. I'll go 1-0, and I'll go Bobby Reid. Why not?
Bobby Decordova Reid.
Oh yeah, Bobby Reid.
That is a challenge for anyone in the club shop to try and fit that on a shirt. Fair play to them. But I mean, it'd be brilliant to see them lose 5 in a row at Anfield. I don't. Has it? Oh, sorry, 6 in a row even. I don't think 5 had ever happened, had it, or ever?
No.
So
not
if 6.
No, that's this is the worst run in the modern era. And Anfield, it's the worst run, like 5 games in a row that they've lost. Yeah, I mean, I can see. I definitely think they're going to drop points, but I can see them getting a draw. I just can't. I don't. For some reason, I just feel like Salah is going to pop up with something. I feel, as much as I'd be overjoyed to see them lose 6 on a bounce at Anfield. I just feel like Salah is just going to pull something out against Fulham. I feel like their defense is still a bit shaky, and I feel like Salah may just get the better of their defense and get an equaliser for them. But I mean, if Fulham get that 6th win at Anfield, it's limbs in the living room. Sadly, not in the stadium. But we move on to the main event of the weekend. The Manchester derby against the Blue Bastards. It's massive. I know the league is gone, but it's still, the league was gone a couple of years ago when we went there with Jose, but I still hark back to that as one of my favourite games I've ever watched, going absolutely mental when we won that 3-2. I know it only delayed the inevitable, but, it's still nice to not have them do it on their own terms at least. And Keane, man, I'm going to come to you first. Like, what are you thinking going into this game? Are we gonna bounce back in dramatic style, or are we gonna whimper out? When you look at this, it depends how on Ollie approaches this, and I have to be really honest here. The way he sets up his team this weekend is very, very important in terms of getting something out of the game. One thing I just like to point out, the way City have been playing lately in terms of their fullbacks coming in field, I think, and I'm just throwing this out, I really do think Ollie should play the diamond this weekend, because he'd done it in the first game when we played him at Old Trafford and shut them out at Old Trafford. I think we should go that to shut them out, because they pack out their midfield. And I think Ollie needs to pack out his midfield in this game. And you do need some threat up front to counter-attack him. Because let's face it, we're going to have to park the bus on Sunday. We're going to have to park the bus. And there's no point even sugarcoating it. You can talk about like the 0-0s against Chelsea, right? Fair enough. You shouldn't park the bus against Chelsea. 0-0 against Arsenal, fair enough. You shouldn't park the bus against Arsenal, because Arsenal are shit, right? Let's face that. But this Manchester City team are a very good team. And if not the most informed team in Europe at the moment. So by all means, like, I wouldn't take a 0-0. I'd rather win this game, but in a derby, you can't accept defeat, and I think that's one very big thing here. And as a Manchester United fan, when you go into a Manchester derby, regardless of form, whether when we were winning titles and they're just coming off in the Championship years ago, or when they just got when Sheikh Mansour came in and they just got the owners and Tevez came to Old Trafford for that first time, you do not want to lose this game. Now, look, the shoe is on the other foot, and they're more dominant than us in the last 7 years. But by no means you go into this game with fear. In Manchester derby, regardless of position, you never go into a game with fear, and you have to fight for it. So I think for me, United need to go in there. We need to set up well. And I think we need a big game out of Rashford on Sunday. I think we need a massive performance out of the two of them. I know two of them haven't pulled up trees as of late, but this is a game where if two of them play well, we can win this game. So for me, I'm going to stick by this prediction, because I've been saying it the last 2 days. I'm going to go 1-0 United win, but I'm not going to go Bruno penalty. I'm not going to go Bruno penalty.
Save the end of it. I'm coming back to that. I'm coming back for that.
But since that other fella, the big veneered mouth cunt, opened his mouth, Jurgen Klopp, we haven't got a penalty since. So for me, I'm going to go 1-0 Manchester United win. I'm going to go with the man who always scores in these derbies, Mr. Marcus Rashford.
Save it, King. Save it. Save it, man. You should have saved it for the end. I was coming back at that for the end. It's all right. It's all right. You've shot your load. It's all right. We do it. Everyone does it on occasion. Greg, mate, what's are you buzzing for this one? Because honestly, mate, I didn't really. I cared about City when they got the money and they became a bit relevant, but until I moved to Manchester, I didn't despise them. I genuinely despise them with a passion. They're one of the most arrogant bunch of fans in the world. I mean, they crawl out of the woodwork whenever they win a game. I just absolutely hate them. Greg, mate, like, what are you thinking coming into this game? City are scarily good form at the moment. Do you think they're going to carry that on, or are we going to finally put a stop to it?
Yeah, City are the most informed team in Europe. Absolutely, what they won 21 on the bounce or something like that, and they just seem to be able to. It's like watching Pep's old Barca side when they used to be struggling, so they used to just pick it up to that third gear, put a couple of goals past, and then just go back into cruise control, and that is what it's like watching just now. I actually think Ollie might play the back 3/back 5 on Sunday and try and get him behind and make them, because they like to play the game wide and pull it wide, and if they want to just hit long shots at Henderson and they score a long shot, then that's absolutely fine, but we don't want them just getting in behind really easily, so I think he might go with the back 5 and just having Wan-Bissaka maybe on the right-hand side of the 3 and having Shaw as an actual left wing back, and then having like someone like Dan James or something like that on the right-hand side, just to have that out ball and just to have that little bit of security that if the ball goes out wide, then we'll be able to stop it a bit better. The midfield's where Man United are going to struggle, like 100%. That's where we'll win or lose the game, is how well that midfield plays. I don't think it matters how well like Rashford or Cavani or anyone like that plays. If that midfield too, which is probably going to be Fred and McTominay, if they don't play well, we're going to lose that game. McTominay played really well last year in the last game before fans. He played excellent in that Manchester derby. So it'd be nice to see that again. I'm never taking anyone's advice ever again that Matic is a suitable replacement and should be playing ahead of Fred, because Matic on Wednesday was atrocious. He was so poor, and if we put in, I think if we were playing it with Matic on Sunday, Man City would look at that and go, right, well, just set up a triangle around Matic, knock it round him and run past, because he's too slow. He's not mobile enough to be able to play that. I think we will play the two. Looking at that comment, I think we will play the two CDM, 100%.
Well, I'll come to you now for the predictive 11. Like, what would you have as your back five then, Greg? Obviously, Hendo's going in net because of the situation with De Gea.
Yeah, Henderson in goal, and then I think we'll go by Maguire, Wan-Bissaka is the three. With Shaw.
We're playing a five at the back, do you think? Yeah.
Yeah. I think we'll play five, and then with the two fullbacks, I think one will be. Yeah, I feel like one Shaw will definitely play. Whether he goes around.
I think Lindelof will maybe start right centre back and then Wan-Bissaka wing back maybe.
I see Shaw coming into that role as if you're having a back three, because Shaw played very well in that role as a back three, and then you play Telles as that wing back if that was your option, and then Wan-Bissaka I think is capable of playing on that right hand side.
Yeah, that would work actually. I forgot about Telles. So that would work. Yeah,
we've all forgotten about poor old Telles, mate. He's just been left out in the cold. The poor fella. He's come over from Porto. He's living out in Sale for himself. He's probably freezing his bollocks off. Like, he's just the poor fella.
Yeah, so probably go Telles, Shaw, Maguire, Lindelof, Wan-Bissaka as a five, and then you could have probably have two in front, I would imagine. Yeah, probably Fred and McTominay, and then Bruno, Rashford, Cavani. That's 5-2-1-2. Yeah, that'd probably be my team. That's probably the safest team. There's pace there to get out if you need to. Someone like Rashford, but then there's enough defensive stability. Like I said to Keane that at 20 minutes to go in the Palace game, I put a 5 on 0-0 for this game on Sunday, because I just don't see where we score a goal just now. Like, we're struggling so much. There's just nothing coming of it, unless it's going to be a spectacular strike from Bruno or just like a penalty. It seems to be like we're not really creating as many opportunities as we need to be. So I think we'll struggle again with that on Sunday. I think 5 at the back is the best way to go. Whether all he does it, I don't know.
Look, man, you can't predict the team anymore, but I mean, we have got a lot of injuries throughout the squad at the moment, so we are struggling. And sort of the midfield is kind of just forced upon us to pick that. Otherwise, you're going down to the likes of Galbraith, and not that they're not good players and possibly good players for the future, but not a lad that you want to bring in for a crucial game in the Premier League. Keane, mate, I'm coming to you now for your predicted 11. What are you going for?
I'm going to do the Diamond, and just because how well it worked the first time we played him this season at Old Trafford, before obviously the Carabao Cup game, when we played him in the league with the Diamond really well, because City, as I said again, City's fullbacks move in field. I think it stops Cancelo coming in and making things happen, and Zinchenko, they do very, very well when they come in for that. So for me, I'm going to go with them. I'm going to go Henderson in goal, Wan-Bissaka, Eric Bailly, even though it's not going to happen. Lindelof's going to play. I'm going to go Wan-Bissaka, Eric Bailly, Maguire, Luke Shaw, Fred, McTominay, Van de Beek, Bruno, and I'm going to go Cavani and Rashford. If Van de Beek is playing, you need to fucking play him. Like, the man can actually help us break the lines and help us counter-attack, and especially the split strikers and Rashford and Cavani, who will work their side as well, and who can both finish. Bruno then is up there in that number 10 role, and where he played really well in the Diamond in that role against Leipzig as well, when he kind of played as kind of nearly almost as a false 9 in that role. Like, he was getting forward, he was getting scoring goals. So I think when you look at that formation, it packs out the midfield to stop their fullbacks coming in. And if City's fullbacks then decide to abandon that and they bomb forward, we've 2 very defensively astute fullbacks in Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw, who can take that, who can mark them one-on-one, because we've seen Luke Shaw, he's pocketed Mahrez, on numerous occasions. And look, Raheem Sterling is just Wan-Bissaka's bitch at this stage. So, like, in that regard, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about them 2 players this weekend. But as Greg said, it's very important kind of how we set up in midfield, because if we set up wrong in the midfield, and let's say we start a Matic, I think we double, because again, as Greg said, they play triangles around them and they'll break us down and we could be in trouble. But I think if Donny van de Beek is fit this weekend, you find a place for him in the midfield, because he's He's a very good player, and in terms of keeping the ball, in terms of playing balls in short spaces, especially when teams like City are pressed, he's a player you play because he can look after the ball quite well.
Yeah, no, I see your point. I mean, I think I'd like to see Donny being brought in for this game, but I just don't think Ollie will. I don't think Ollie trusted him. If Ollie doesn't trust him to bring him in for a lot lesser games than that, I don't think he'll bring him in for such a crucial game in the Manchester derby. I don't disagree with you in saying that I think he should be brought in, but I just can't see it personally. Obviously, I'm going through my team now. Henderson obviously is going to be starting now, and hopefully now he is able to prove himself between now and the end of the season and possibly become our number one for the foreseeable future. And then probably, I like the idea of a back five, to be honest, Greg, but I see him going with a back four of Wan-Bissaka. I think Bailly will actually come back into the side. I think he will start. I think Wan-Bissaka, Bailly, Maguire, and Luke Shaw at left back. And I think it's a big game, so I think you're going to see McFred come into that midfield. Bruno playing ahead, and I think Dan James had probably one of his best games last season at the Etihad. So I would go with Dan James on the right, Cavani through the middle, and Rashford on the left. That's what I would go for personally. We have a lot of comments coming in here. Big Run reckons we should play De Gea and Henderson at the same time against City. I mean, if that was allowed, I think we would. Even Lee Grant would do a job next to Hendo as well. If Luke Shaw was dropped into that centre back role, we would miss him down the left hand side. I could definitely see that, and would love to see us do a 4-4-2. Tellez left wing. Tellez on the left wing. What do you think about that one, Greg? Mate, you thought either Bruno or Rashford playing off the striker?
Yeah, that's pretty good actually. There's a lot of defensive cover. I wouldn't actually mind seeing that. The only issue is because you'd have Bruno quite deep, I suppose, or you'd maybe play it as
maybe go 4-4-1. Maybe.
Yeah, you'd have to go 4-4-1, and then you might have someone like you'd have Rashford or something like that, maybe out on the right, which is maybe not as
Rashford
strong
on the right or something.
Yeah, but I like the idea of Tellez at left wing. That's pretty good. That wouldn't be such a bad option, but as always, he won't change much. You were a bit earlier.
He's not that revolutionary.
No, you need to have balance between man management and coaching, where what we were saying about Southampton having just all the coaching, not really the man management. I think Man United have got maybe the other end of the scale with that. I think Always a brilliant man manager, but whether he's tactically astute to switch up things when it's not working, you see it with his substitutions sometimes and how long it takes him. Maybe he's just lacking in that a little bit, yeah. But it would be interesting to see him try that out.
Yeah, I just can't see Ollie doing something so left field as to put Tellez on the left wing and completely change the formation of the side. I just Saeed is the old thing of Ollie freestyle. I don't think he's ever going to do anything that sort of risky in such a big game as well. Comment to Jermaine McLean's comment here then as well. If they play a false nine, it could be a lot of trouble. The boys look so confused in the last game. We also need to stop playing out of the back. I think Henderson does help with playing out of the back, to be fair. I think he's a lot better at it than De Gea. But then again, it's not very hard to be better than De Gea is at playing out of the back. He's god awful with his feet. But yeah, I see your point there. It could be a lot of trouble for us. Keane, mate, what do you think? Is Gabby Jesus going to cause us a lot of problems there playing as that false nine?
Yeah, I think even if Jesus doesn't start in the number 9 role, you still have De Bruyne who's played through the middle. Gundogan has also played through the middle. Phil Foden has also played there. So even if Jesus doesn't start, you still have 3 or 4 players who've played in that position this season who've been very effective. I'd be worried now myself if Phil Foden played through there, because I think his moves will stifle Harry Maguire and Lindelof, a centre half, if they both played there. I could see us giving away a penalty or a lot of free kicks in around the box. So I think I'd worry Phil Foden, because in the false nine he's done quite well, especially against Liverpool when he's in around that central area. He just tore them to shreds. But then again, that's not hard nowadays. But yeah, look, I think City forward options are just they're They're all very good players. And even like, let's say if Mahrez doesn't start, he can come off the bench. Like they might have a Bernardo Silva off the bench. They might, you know, they'd have like Jesus, Aguero, who's also back fit. Like there's so many players they have that who control us. And I think it's very, very important that we have to be on our game defensively. I know we actually have been. We've been keeping clean sheets as of late, but let's face it, that's against much lesser opposition at this moment in time. Do you know, we're against the creme of the creme at the moment, so on Sunday.
Yeah, no, we are against the creme of the creme, the most informed side in Europe, as Greg has already said. I mean, I think they're 5 off Ajax's record of 26, which is the most consecutive wins for any European side ever. That's the Ajax side of the 70s with Johan Cruyff. I mean, if they get that record, I think we'll all be devastated about that one. To be honest, no one's a big fan of City these days. But you know, the big question now is: are we going to come out on top? I mean, I am forever the optimist, and I have many great memories of our stuff in City. So I personally think we're going to do it. It's going to be nervy. It's going to be shit, and we're going to do it 2-1. And as I'm going to go along the lines of Keane as well, that Marcus Rashford is going to get on the score sheet 100%. And Bruno Fernandes is going to score an absolute wonderful worldie and send us all into absolute delirium, just like Scott McTominay did when he bashed it in from nearly the halfway line again and put it past that donkey from Brazil. Greg, mate, what are you thinking? Are you thinking on the lines of me, that the huge optimist here, or are you coming more from a realist perspective?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know where we're going to create to score the goal. Big teams, especially, have been really good at shutting Bruno out. And obviously, people vote a bang on about that record that he doesn't perform against Big Six. Man United haven't performed against the Big Six this season. So if we want to be, you want to be like that about it. Bruno's been our best player against the Big Six. So I think he'll be shut down, or maybe not shut down, but he will be pressured really hard. He'll have to drop out wide and maybe drop really deep to pick up the ball. I want to say 0-0, but I'll be slightly optimistic. I'll say 1-0 Man United. Why not?
1-0 Man United. And Keith, just for anyone that missed it, what's your prediction, my man?
I'm going to go 1-0 United as well. And people always expect a Bruno penalty, but no, Marcus Rashford, the new king of Manchester. You know, he's feeding kids, he's scoring goals, he's doing absolutely everything. 1-0 Manchester and Marcus Rashford, he's bagging another winner at the Etihad.
I mean, Jermaine thinking 2-1 as well, in agreement with me. And I think you got that one wrong there, Keane. It's actually Sir Marcus Rashford in my eyes, definitely.
Sir
anyway.
Marcus Rashford,
he definitely needs a knighthood. He's done a lot more than a lot of fuckers that have got one. And I think we're all in agreement there that we're going to do the Blue Bastards in. And we're going to get those 3 points and cut it down to 11. And who knows, there could be a complete capitulation due to COVID, and 21 could come. I mean, that would be an absolute dream. But we can dream. Why support football unless you're going to dream? I mean, it's very unlikely, but still a slim possibility. We move on to the late kickoff, 7:15 on a Sunday. And I mean, I complained about the 8 o'clock on a Saturday even, sorry. But 7:15 on a Sunday. Are you having a laugh? Mate, you can't be doing that. I mean, you'd be in a rush to get the last train. It's just, I mean, like, getting the tram in Manchester after like 9 o'clock is struggle enough. I mean, I hope they don't keep that kickoff time post, when fans do get back into the ground. But looking at the game, Palace in a decent, for a Roy Hodgson side, a decent run of form, getting that win against Brighton and 2 0-0 draws in a row. Looking pretty safe, to be honest. And Tottenham off the back of that win against Burnley. So, Greg, do you think Mourinho is going to continue this push for top 4 and eventually falter and then forget about the league like he did at United?
Yeah, that's pretty much what will happen. They'll be good for 2 or 3 weeks and then they'll drop an easy result, and then they might have to scrape around for a couple of weeks, and then they'll be miles off again. And then they'll forget about the league and just want to win the Europa League. But they have been good the last 2 weeks, Tottenham. Right? They weren't as good in the second half yesterday as they were in the first. But yeah, they should have enough to beat Palace. Palace is dreadful to the league. I know Man United weren't much better, but Palace were woeful, and they don't create a lot at all. So I think Tottenham will be fine. 3-0 Spurs, why not?
3-0 Spurs. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if they won 3-0, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was a narrow result in the way of Palace. But Keane, mate, what are you thinking? Do you think Spurs will come out on top of this one, or is old Roy going to sort of get a good stamp on his reputation, which has been sort of faltering in the last few weeks at Palace?
I'm going to go for a fuck it. 1-0 Crystal Palace.
You love an audacious result, don't you, Keano, mate? You love an audacious one.
I just love seeing Arsenal and Spurs crumble because they talk a big game for clubs who are well below us in the table, and their fans are wrecking my head lately. So, yeah, the bias comes into that one.
The bias is coming in there. I mean, I'm going to go for a narrow Spurs victory. I think I'm going to say 2-0 Spurs. It won't be pretty. Mourinho versus Hodgson. It's never going to be one that you want to watch, but I think they will leak it out. Moving on to Monday night now, and it's the 6 o'clock kickoff. It's Chelsea versus Everton. That's actually quite a decent game for the 6 o'clock on a Monday. I thought it'd be the 8 o'clock, to be honest. But Chelsea in good form, unbeaten since Tuchel has taken charge. He seems to have turned it around there. Poor old Fat Frank couldn't get a tune out of him, but now Tuchel seems to be doing a job very well. And Everton under Ancelotti are doing very well and in contention for a 4th spot. I mean, this is a sort of a battle for that 4th position between these two clubs. I mean, Keane, how do you see this one playing out? Is Tuchel going to continue that unbeaten run?
It's tough one. Both teams are playing very well at the moment. Like Chelsea have that new manager bounce with Thomas Tuchel, and you've seen the result at Anfield last night. They went to Anfield and absolutely dominated there. At Anfield last night, I thought they played Liverpool off the park. Liverpool couldn't get a sniff really. And Tuchel seems to get that new manager bounce. I'm not going to say that he's doing fantastic at the moment, because we all know what happens when a new manager comes in for the first 10 games and goes on a massive run. We've seen it happen at our club. So I'm not going to sit here and blow smoke up his arse, because I'm not going to do it. But I think he's doing well, and he is getting more out of the players than Lampard did. I think Lampard he got that job a bit too early. But on the flip side, you have Totti, who's done fantastically well with Everton all season, and they have threats like Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison, and they're very good at the back as well. And even in midfielders like Alan, Decore, players who get into most sides in the Premier League, in terms of the midfield positions. Like I say, Liverpool, looking at their midfield, they take Everton's midfield at the moment. They would. Do you know what I mean? Their midfield looks devoid of ideas. So, look, for me, I'm going to go 2-2 draw, because I think both sides will play well. I don't think there'll actually be much between them on Monday.
Yeah. 2-2 draw. I mean, an old Desmond. I mean, that'll be an exciting one, to be fair. A decent watch just coming in from work at 6 o'clock on a Monday. I mean, Greg, mate, what are you thinking? A Desmond as well, or are you thinking that either one of these sides might be able to come out on top? Is Ancelotti going to stop Tuchel in his tracks?
I don't know. They're both pretty good coaches, so I don't know. Chelsea have obviously played much better since Tuchel's come in. I'm pretty certain that's just a new manager bounce. With how good they've been, there are obviously still points in that squad that need sorting. But Ancelotti's got Everton playing really well this season. Obviously, he's got Calvert-Lewin scoring goals. He's got Richarlison contributing and scoring goals. So I could go with 2-2. Be a good result for United as well. So yeah, why not 2-2?
2-2, sort of, keep them fighting amongst themselves down there in that sort of in the sort of lower, in the upper middle table. I think I actually am going to go for an Everton win here at the Bridge and just kill that Tuchel vibe, hopefully anyway. And just see Chelsea faltering. As I've said before, I am quite anti-Chelsea as a fan. But I'd like to see. I'm going to go for an Everton 2-1. I think Richarlison is in a good vein of form right now, and hopefully he keeps that one up. Now we move on to the final game of the weekend, which is West Ham versus Leeds. And if you'd have said one of my good mates is a West Ham fan, if you'd have said to him at the start of the season that Jesse Lingard will be playing for you lot and you will be competing for 4th position with just about 12 games to go, I think he'd have checked me into a mental asylum, to be honest. I mean, as we all do the thing there, Jay Lings is on fire for West Ham. And as a United fan, we're all not big fans of Leeds. He's looking to go there and keep up his fine form, and possibly, I know it's a very slim chance, but get into a contention for a spot in that European England squad. I mean, it's a very, very slim chance, but he has a good relationship with Gareth Southgate. Could happen. I mean, Leeds is a tough
Madison
game for them. Madison. Oh yeah. Oh, Madison.
Madison being in,
yeah.
like, is a chance. Like, yeah, a chance. Like, without doubt.
Yeah, huge chance for them. So, I mean, Kim, mate, I'll come to you first. Who do you think is going to come out on top in this West Ham Leeds game? Because I mean, Leeds are just the picture of inconsistency. So, who's coming out on top?
I'm going to go 3-0 West Ham. Leeds haven't won a game in London this season yet, and they have a very bad record against the London clubs this year. I don't think that's going to change. And Jesse Lingard is going to tear them apart. And as Manchester United fans, we're going to absolutely love to see that.
Fair enough. Greg, mate, what are you thinking about this game?
Lingard will obviously be up for it, being a Manchester United boy and everything like that. He'll want to prove himself against Leeds. He's played really well, so West Ham. So I can see them pasting Leeds, to be honest. But I'll go with, I'll agree with Caden. 3-0 West Ham. Jesse Lingard to get 2 assists and a goal. Why not?
Yeah, sorry, my connection just went a little bit there, lads. I was a bit shaky there for a second. I don't know what was going on. Couldn't hear it.
I was wondering why you went quiet there for a second. I thought you were just...
No, it just like
I thought you were just
Wi-Fi is
Gloria Jesse Lingard there.
No, the Wi-Fi in my house just decided it weren't having it. It was having it for a good 50 minutes, and then just decided not today. But we move. It's all good now. We move on. I mean, Big Ron here has got some questions about Leeds. What do you think of Ayling and Dallas at Leeds? I think they are very underrated, crisp passes, good engines. I mean, fair play to Stuart Dallas. He's been with Leeds for years now, and he's come to the Premier. He's come into the Premier League like a duck to water. He's playing very well. I think he's got about 5 or 6 goals already this season as well. He's playing very well, and Luke Ayling looks like a solid defensive option for any Premier League side. I mean, Greg, mate, what's your opinion on those two lads?
I think they're really good, but I don't know if they work in any other system apart from that Leeds system. Like, I don't think you could pick them up and put them in like an Aston Villa or an Everton system and they do quite the same job, or they're quite as effective. I don't think they're as strong defensively as I would want from fullbacks. They played really well, and they're obviously always going to get chances playing in that Leeds system that they do, that they all go forward as one and they get a lot of chances. And they're decent players, but they're good players because they fit the system. They're not good players because they're just outright good players.
Fair enough. I mean, King, what's your opinion on those two lads?
Look, they've done very well for Leeds. Like, they're good players in the Championship for a couple of years, and they're very kind of progressive players. And I think Greg has been bang on. I think they've played very well in that system that Bielsa has built over the last kind of 2-3 years. But you have to say, like, when you look at other teams, like, would they play the same? Would they flourish? It remains to be seen. But look, fair play to them. They've done fantastically well in the Premier League, and even though like the Leeds as a whole, like, they're very inconsistent, they're a very open team, and look, they do play a good brand of football. But again, Leeds are scum. So like, yeah, I'm not gonna blow smoke up their arse.
Yeah, no, I mean, no one wants to be blowing smoke up the Leeds fans' arse. I mean, to be fair, they are a great fan base, and I can't wait for that away day trip to Ellen Road. I mean, it'll probably be a dangerous one, and I'm sure there'll be some bottles flying at us and some unsavoury words said to us. But that's what football's all about, isn't it? And that's what we miss. And I myself am going to go for a big old West Ham win as well. And I think Jesse Lingard will be getting on the score sheet. I'm going to say a 3-0 West Ham win. And as I normally always do, end it on a bit of a random question. But as it is the derby weekend, I'm just going to ask the boys your favourite memory of a Manchester derby. I mean, obviously the McTominay one comes to mind, but there have been a lot of great memories, especially over the last 10 years or so. I mean, Keane, shall I come to you first, mate? Are you going to say what I think you're going to say?
Do you know what? I think there's two for me. I think my last minute winner, like 96th minute, that was just insane. Like the peach of a pass by Giggs and the well taken finish by Michael Owen, and just the magnitude of that win was great because they were the noisy neighbours that time. Carlos Tevez came back to Old Trafford and looked like City were about to nick a draw in the end, and then just Michael Owen on a free nicks it in the Manchester derby. Now, obviously, the other one then is Van Persie. Then in the last minute at the Etihad, that was another one. But then obviously there's another one, Wayne Rooney. Like there's so many. Like there's literally so many you can choose. Like because we've gave them many of batterings over the years.
Giving them many a batterings. I mean, there's a great selection there. I mean, Greg, is that giving you a few ideas, mate? What's your favourite memory of a derby? You know, possibly a demolition derby.
It's got to be Michael Owen's one. Like that was so good, and the fact that we were pushing for about 15 minutes before the goal went in, and then it just didn't look like it was going to come, and then for it to be like an ex-Liverpool player, to score the goal against, it was hilarious. It was absolutely hilarious to watch it, and it was amazing. Like it was a great finish, to be fair to him, but it was one of the best moments I've experienced in football. It's got to be Michael Owen's goal.
Michael Owens. That's a good one, to be fair, mate. I mean, Jermaine's coming here, and as well as Big Ron, Rooney's overhead kick. It was a game where Keane scored the winner 3-2 in the mid-90s. Sadly, don't remember that, as I was born in 99, despite me looking about 25. And Darren Fletcher Darren Fletcher's goal in the game. Yeah. Darren Fletcher getting a very rare brace. But for me, there's one, and it was one of the few good games under Louis van Gaal. It's one I remember because I was at the game with my dad. Not yet. Everyone seems to feel that when I do tell them I was born 99. But under Louis van Gaal in 2015, and we won 4-2. We went up 4-1. I just remember it. It was just a brilliant day. We just absolutely swept them aside, which we hadn't done for a while. And I just remember it being very random scorers, and I just looked out there. It was young Fellaini, Mata, and Smalling got the goals. It was like how fucking it was brilliant. I remember Smalling got the 4, and we were up 4-1, and City got a consolation late on. But it was just a brilliant day. Like it was me, my dad, my brother. Like great day out, amazing win, and beating them 4-2. And I think that's probably, aside from the FA Cup with Lingard, probably my favourite memory under Van Gaal. Because there wasn't a lot of good football in those 2 years, but he did provide us with that one, and that I do remember that one, and it was a brilliant result. But that brings us to the end of the show, and just give the boys a chance to give themselves a shout out on the socials. Keen, mate, I'll come to you first.
Yeah, you can catch me over at the Weekly Armchair Kickoff podcast at 8 p.m. We are live for our Manchester United versus Manchester City Derby Day preview. Shane and Jan City from the Man City fan channel are joining us at 8 o'clock, where we're talking all things Manchester United and Manchester City. And also you can catch me at Keen_Franey on Twitter for all the banter with the rival fans. You love.
Yeah, Keane will be there boiling the piss of every rival fan that comes near him on Twitter. And Greg, mate, give the people a shout out to where they can find you.
So it's just pretty much on my Twitter at Greg_D_Chambers. Come over, have a chat about football. And yeah, pretty much same as Keane. If you're a rival fan, I'll try and wind you up as best I can. Had a good one, my Man City fan through the week. It fell out with Keane for posting a photo of an old goal from Rooney, because he wanted a more up-to-date goal or something like. He wanted a more up-to-date picture or something like that. It's just an absolute idiot. So yeah,
we could just send him the one. We could just send him the one of McTominay in from halfway line instead, exactly. And they can remember that one. Those dirty blue bastards. Please like, share, and subscribe. Love to see it. Like a lot of people watching constantly throughout today means a lot. Please hit the like button. Please share. Please subscribe. Trying to hit 150 for Paddy's weekend, because sadly my favourite weekend of the year is cancelled due to COVID. So let's make it a bit more joyous. And thanks for tuning in, guys. Lads, thanks for coming along, and talk to you